Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to put the top end back on this Shovelhead. Check out the previous videos of me knuckling my way through it, but let's get into this. Alright, it's a mess right now, but it's all together. I got gaskets, the top end, and the jugs. Cylinders, excuse me, and then all the stuff is separated, and then I got the Bible, which I've been reading this climbers on this bike, or for Shovelheads anyways, and it's not the greatest, so you know, just remember that it pays to get the better one. But first off, I took these bad boys to a machine shop to have them put the valves on and just like seed everything, you know, make it all clean. And they did a heck of a job. He didn't do the rockers, which I told him not to. But man, really crushed it. I mean, it's dirty from me moving it around, but really got it clean. I told him to clean the outside, and I kind of screwed up. I should have had him bead blast the whole thing. But maybe next year I'll have them do that. Yeah, it looks fucking great. Pretty crazy. Well worth the money for what little short money and peace of mind. But yeah, look at that. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Because if I would have done it, it would have been gouged and, you know, still all dirty in here, and I would have scraped it all up. But yeah, he bead blasted the inside of all my ports, so pretty stoked. And then this is flat. He didn't do anything but clean it. He said it was damn near perfect, and it's just a Shovelhead, so we're good. Trusty list here, because I'm gonna forget what to say. But at first, I gotta clean my pistons. They're pretty clean. I'm just gonna do the top. What else? I gotta clean the cylinders. I had them hone the inside, but I didn't have him clean them. He just did it for me real quick, which was pretty cool. And then I gotta check the rocker box gap and then slap everything together. So let's get to cleaning. So right now I gotta clean the bottom base gasket area, and not really much, but I'm gonna clean these up a hair. They're pretty freaking clean. I think they might be just dirty from my dumb ass. But yeah, I haven't even touched these. I wanted to leave them. There's still a gasket on there. And yeah, I'm gonna clean this up, and with movie magic, we'll see what happens. All right, that's pretty clean. A lot of scratches from whoever did this before, but it's damn near straight. I used a carbide bit on it, so it worked, cleaned it up really good, and all the little splotches like this are flat. But I just cleaned it up with some parts cleaner. Of course, it doesn't look that great. But then these are dialed. I just barely cleaned those off. They don't have any carbon buildup on them at all. That's stained. So I got this carbide scraper. I've never used one of these, and boy is it a game changer. I always use my knife or a razor blade and just gouge. I picked all the big pieces out. This one didn't have all that, the bottom wheel. But I lift him up as much as I can, and then I hit it with this thing. I haven't even cleaned this thing. But look at that. That's perfect. It scratches up a little bit, but that's fine. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, that's sweet. So yeah, see, this one had the gasket on it. See, I just take my knife, try to not gouge into it and lift, but I just kind of walk it in. See, it comes up pretty good. Some of the spots are pretty bad, like right there. But it's working. I try not to put it at an angle and shave it. you know, and I try not to poke into it, but it's kind of a do what you gotta do situation. And I'll hit it with a little parts cleaner, and just like movie magic, it'll be done. All right, I got these jugs really cleaned up. Sprayed the inside with some carb cleaner. I don't know if you're supposed to do that or not. Cleaned it out a bunch of times with multiple clean rags until it wasn't dirty anymore. But now I'm gonna oil them around the outside and the inside. That way I can slide the cylinders in there, and when it starts, it won't be dry started. I got it all cleaned up, and I decided to do a little math. So the bottom of the piston rings to that hole in the actual cylinder, there's a distance. You can actually have the oil rings, or even whatever rings are on your piston, below that, and that'll cause it to smoke too, because it's just swiping oil inside the rings. So let me see if I can show you. So this jug has a hole in there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. That's the hole, way down in the bottom there. So that hole, you need to measure the distance from the hole to the top. All right, so in order to do that, I got the cylinder head on there with the piston on, you know, way down there as far as it'll go, and I measured the distance from there. And then I measured the distance between the bottom of this oil ring and the top of that line there on the piston. So saying that, I had to do a little math. But basically you just want to, this is the cylinder, that's the oil hole, and then like these two lines are the top of the piston and the bottom of the oil ring. You basically just want to see where this is relative to the bottom of that. So once I did all my math and all that, the hole itself is at 5.6 something thou, and my bottom of my oil ring is at 5.47. So I got a grace period. I got whatever it is, 40 thousandths or something off, 20 something thousandths in between the bottom of the oil ring and that hole. You also have to include the base gasket, so don't ever forget that. It's 0.2, so you just add it to the height. This is necessary. If your motor's smoking, this could be a big factor, so always do this, especially with this kind of stuff. This is all hot rodded out. So yeah, you got to do these numbers, especially if you got a hot rod motor. You never know what the person before you did. You got it all apart, you might as well just measure it. Get yourself a measuring tool like this one. I got this one off old Amazon for pretty cheap. It works perfectly fine. Don't get the battery kind, they always fail. But the kind with this spinner thing on there, it's the way to go. I did all that with this, and a little peace of mind. Now I know. All right, so now I'm gonna put the cylinders on, but I gotta make sure these oil rings are whatever they specify. And this says 120 degrees apart. So I'm assuming I'm gonna start with the bottom one, facing, I think that big port is exhaust maybe, and I'll face it that way. And then the next one, and so on and so forth. Let's put these at 120 degrees apart, whatever that means. So you got one there, and the other one right there. So we got here, here, and here. Of course, I'm going to double check that before I put the cylinder head on. And I'm going to double check these two rings. There we go. Now the hard part is getting this out. Okay. Okay, that's one on. I'll bolt these down real quick, a little bit. All right, now I got these spacers I put on there. Don't worry, I put the gasket on there. Just didn't film it. What sucks about these things is I don't have a wrench that fits it. I'll show you when I get there. They kind of don't go on here very easily, these caps. I would like to get something that fits them. I might have to borrow something. But you got to lift this thing up to get them on. Because they hit the fins. Boom, okay. There's one more thing I need to remember. I think it's this. One of these bolts, I'm gonna put both of them in there. You gotta go put it in there first. I think it's this one. Looks correct. I know when I put it in, took all these out, I thought I lost one and it was still in there. I was staring at this thing, pissed off, and then I realized I was being an idiot. You gotta put this in there. Yep, that's the one. I might do this one too, just for shits and giggles. To get this torqued down, I bought these tools off Lowbrow, and let me show you. They're actually pretty cool. They're so cool that none of them fit. That's ridiculous. But I'm hoping at least these fit. Shit, barely. So yeah, I gotta find something to somehow torque these down. I think they're a 1/2 inch. And of course, toolkit didn't even come with a 1/2 inch. Just kidding, I found one. Oh, it works like a charm. Look at that. Now that I got this dog bone, let's try to hit this at 40 foot-pounds. So set this thing to like 10 or 20 or something to work with foot-pounds. All right, that's 20 foot-pounds. Let's try going all the way. All right, 40 foot-pounds. All right, next we got to check these rocker boxes, the tappets that go up and down. If they're too loose or the gaps in them are too much, you'll have all kinds of noise and chatter. So let's check it. Okay, so what I'm talking about is this. These things are pretty slow, so they're not too tight, but they're kind of tight. But they fall down. What I'm really checking is this gap in here. So I wanted it around below 10. So what I do is I stick it in there. Pretty tight, so it's probably about 8. And this one, about the same. It's kind of weird how it won't go in. There we go. Probably about 8. So I'm gonna put this guy on here, but I gotta put the gasket on. So let's put it on there. Got the torque wrench. I like to do 10 foot-pounds first. Harbor Freight is not great for torque wrenches. Get a better one. All right. Looking good. Make sure I got the gasket on there. Got a James gasket on there. Kind with the red stuff on there, the sealant. And I'm gonna clean this up and pop it back on. All right, here's the Cometic gaskets. As you see, there's an oil hole right there. So I just got to make sure the oil hole goes right there. I think that's a good fit. Can't tell. Ooh. It might go this way too. Yep, that's the way. Just bolting this down, and I forgot to put this in. You got to put this in before. It's really hard to do it. That's why this one's all bent up. But put that in there, get your other one on, and then put the center one on. So yeah, right now I'm gonna put this in there and check in. It's pretty loose. Only way to get that down is to shim it, but another day, another time. It's not much off. I'll put a little assembly lube on these lifters. Okay, so they have a tab, and I'm pretty sure they're at the same point. Almost. That's always scary with these things, so maybe I screwed that up. I might have to check it. But anyways, I don't even have these torqued yet. I put the oil lines in. I might switch these because they're pretty, I don't know, I don't really trust them. I feel like they're gonna leak. The next thing is you wanna check to see if your manifold butts up against this flush, and it does. And then check it again once you get these bolted down. Let's see if these fancy tools work. Might take me a minute because I don't have them too tight in there. With this bad boy, make sure it's seated. Get everything torqued down to 20 pounds, star pattern, and then I'll hit it at, I don't even know, 40 pounds, and then maybe another one, 60, and then 65. But I keep checking every time in case the heads walk, but it should seat right into it. Alright, so I got a fun thing. This bolt started spinning and I couldn't figure it out, so I had to get the light in here. But I don't know if you can see, that freaking washer was pushing itself out. So I gotta, see that? Dang it. I gotta take it out and try to figure out what the hell's going on. So I took that bolt out and squished that ring that was around it. They're all separated. So I don't know why they would do that, because it obviously is gonna just separate like that once you torque it down. All of them torqued down except for that one. And I got it to like 60 and then it starts fucking separating. So I'm just gonna go find a washer or something maybe. But here it is. That thing, freaking dead nuts on. Pretty sweet. Yeah, pretty hyped on this motor. Hopefully it doesn't leak. Sometimes I don't really trust this kind of stuff that I do. Yeah, I know this video is kind of all over the place. I didn't really talk while I was doing it. I gotta work on that. But leave in the comments what kind of gaskets you use. I know everybody uses James, but yeah, I'm gonna button this all back up in the next video and check out my For Dummies videos I'm gonna start doing. Otherwise, check out all these other videos to see what's going on.